3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the very first episode of Under the Hat, a new bi-weekly news magazine show where we take a look into what's happening around the school. I'm Jacob Parsons.
And I'm Megan Rosenthal. Let's get into the news.
On Saturday the 20th, there will be a Hiders for Music craft show from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. where you can get things for the upcoming holidays or just because you want to. Plus, parking and entry are free.
On October 25th, the freshmen will be going to Valley of Fear Haunted Hayride, and before then is the Trunk or Treat. Feel free to dress up.
And if you thought that was scary, the parent-teacher conferences are on October 25th and the 26th. They'll be held on Thursday night and Friday afternoon. Also on that Friday, the Hyder Stadium is going through a big change in honor of a former legend at HH. Our very own Megan Rosenthal recently had the opportunity to talk to those involved.
During the varsity football game on Friday, October 26th, the high school will be renaming Hatter Stadium in honor of longtime football coach Dennis Steinle, who passed away earlier in 2018. Friday's game against Plymouth Whitemarsh will mark the unveiling of the new name for the school community and the Steinle family itself, including Coach Steinle's son, Mr. Steinle. Coach Steinle's legacy will live on for all those who visit the stadium.
What an amazing way to commemorate Coach Steinle.
Now, if you want a second chance with your school pictures, retakes are on November 2nd.
The marching band will be preparing for battle at the stadium for the Tip of the Hat tournament on November 3rd.
Get ready to party or vote because on November 6th it's the election day, which means we have no school.
Spirit Week, the best week of all school weeks, is coming up on November 15th and leading up until the 21st to get us in the spirit for the pep rally, also on the 21st.
And after all that fun stuff is the Thanksgiving Day football game on November 22nd, which is a great way to spend time with family and be thankful for family and football.
All right, that's enough news. Let's move on to this Halloween season's best movies to watch.
You gotta be kidding me.
Do you think you have what it takes to handle Hatboro Horsham's most frightening tales of terror? If you do, you're in luck. HHTV presents a 2-night special of 3 tales of terror: A Nightmare on Horsham Road, Headless Hatter, and Studio of Fear. Starting on October 30th and running until Halloween night, see if you have the guts to tune in. Don't worry, we can't get you through the TV. Well, never mind. Don't forget to tune in to this spectacular event.
Welcome back to Under the Hat. I don't know about you, Megan, but I feel like I know more about comma splices.
Yeah, sure. Now, let's go from education to athletics with Kyle Crane and the Under the Hat Sports Center.
Hello and welcome to the Hatter Sports Center. I'm Kyle Crane and here's today's sports update. Let's start off with football. The Hatters are currently sitting at 4 wins and 3 losses, and their next home game is on Friday, October 26th against Plymouth Whitemarsh. The boys cross country team has finished the regular season with a record of 5-1, along with the Lady Hatters finishing with a record similar with 5-1. Let's cheer on our boys and girls cross country teams as they head to Lehigh University this weekend to compete in the league championship meet. Next, we have the Lady Hatters tennis team. They have finished their season off with a record of 7-7. Up to this point, the boys soccer team has entered the week with a record of 9 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie. The Lady Hatters soccer team has also entered the week with a record of 11 wins and 5 losses. Now we are going to end with a spotlight on volleyball. The Lady Hatters are considered one of the better teams in the state and are on their way to the playoffs. They were able to end their season with a record of 17-1 after the win on Monday's match against North Penn. We were able to interview the head coach, John Young, and senior Katie Graham about their season so far. Let's check it out.
I guess that really breaks down into 2 things. First would be the performance expectation. So we'd really like as a program to really have a strong push for districts and states and perform at a high level. But I think the bigger expectation for us is to ensure that we stay together and become resilient against big adversity teams. So that's really what we're trying to accomplish more than anything else.
I've seen that we tend to dwell on our errors, which can impact the game as it's going on. So I think that I would hope for us to be able to move on if we do have errors and just be able to play and continue to do well for the rest of the match.
I would say there's 2 types of teams that give us problems. The first of which is I'd put them in what we refer to as a safe volleyball category, which means they play very conservative volleyball. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They have a great defense. And then the flip side of that, they have both the defensive ball and they have the offensive ball. So they can avoid mistakes, but they also have a very talented offense. Chaotic. One of the things that's different for us this year is we started off the year in the first half of the season going undefeated. Now we have a bit of a target on our back. So the teams that abnormally would play, I'd say, at a certain level are playing at a much higher level because they want to beat us.
We have a lot of power players because we are so offensively heavy. I would say Camille Wild, Raquel Westcott for our offense, and for our defense, definitely Jess Howard. We have put in a ton of work during our off season. We start open gyms in May. So I think the hard work and determination that we've put in as a team has really helped us get it as far as we have this season. I also think that our success comes from the bond that we have as a team. We're all super close, so that helps playing out on the court to help us win games.
And they win! The Knights could not handle the serve, and the Hatters are victorious.
Thanks, Kyle. Now let's shift the focus from sports to the student body and see what some of our students do beyond the classroom.
This week's Student Spotlight is on a student who leaves the school to teach others a little bit about art.
So these are all of our nail guns that we have to use to build all the signs. And then we have all the drills on that side over there. Hi, my name is Haley, and I'm an assistant art instructor at AR Workshop in Newtown. I started doing art when I was really, really young, and I started drawing and doodling all over my house. I used to scribble on furniture and on the walls, and my parents would get pissed at me. My parents would always have boxes of crayons and pencils and markers all over the place everywhere, and they would all have their caps off of them, and some of them would be dried out and ruined, and we'd have to get new ones all the time. So at the beginning of class, when everybody's finished peeling their stencils, everybody has to be quiet for a sec. And since there's 40 people in a class at a time, it's kind of hard to make everybody quiet. So we have to ring this thing. The whole process starts with picking out what day you want to come in for a class. So we usually have classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They pick out whatever project you want to do. Nobody has to do the same thing. You come in and you pick out all of your colors. You have all of your paints to pick from, and then you have stains to pick from, and you can pretty much make it however you want to make it. So then you peel your stencil, which is your design that's going to be on your project, and then you get to distress. Everything comes in a separate plank, so all of the signs that are built and put together, they have to use power tools. You get to use the hammer and the chisel and make it look old and beat up, and you sand it, and then you get to paint your design on it, and then after that you're pretty much done. Classes, we've had 51 people is our max in our little workshop that we have here, and it's a lot of fun when there's 50 people in here making projects. So the first time we had a class and I actually taught someone how to do all of this stuff, it was a little crazy and hectic because I had only done it one time before myself, but now that it's been almost 2 years, a year and a half, I am very happy doing what I do. Although I do most of this with all of my free time every single night usually, I actually don't really want to chase it as a career. I actually want to become a doctor. I'm hoping to join the Army. I just applied for an ROTC scholarship at Penn State. I'm hoping to go there, be stationed for 4 years, go to med school, and become an Army doctor or an Army surgeon.
Thank you for watching our very first episode of Under the Hat.
And now, from the orchestra, this is Halloween.